Well, welcome to the You Can Emerge Positive podcast. And I am your host, Deanne Lewis, also founder of Emerge Positive. And next week is Thanksgiving. I cannot even believe we are already here. It is crazy to me. But nonetheless, here we are. And Thanksgiving, for some people, it's fun. Like it's a family gathering, lots of great food. But for other people, this is a very anxious time. Anxious in that you do not get along with somebody there, or you've had arguments with people there, or it just never quite goes the way you had hoped. So, if you have recently or have been in a while in this position where you are not getting along well with your family, or you're finding that you are saying yes to things at work when you really wanted to say no, well, this episode is for you. Because today we are talking about boundaries. And boundaries are something that really are essential to have a peaceful and joyful life. And yet, most of us do not set them. And they impact our entire life too. It's not just our personal life, it's also our work life. It follows us everywhere, and yet we're not setting boundaries. Why is that? I think it's mostly because people get really concerned about how others are going to react to them. They're concerned that they're going to piss them off, or that they're not going to want to be their friend anymore or a colleague, and that causes them to back off. But the real reason here, or the real thing is boundaries are not about other people. They are absolutely about relationships and they are about people, but they're for you. So you absolutely need and should set them. Boundaries are for you. It is to help you gain your peace of mind, your overall well being, and also just setting those stakes up for what you are willing to live in, like how you want to live your life. So, today we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about it from a professional standpoint. We're going to talk about it from a personal standpoint, and certainly about a family standpoint, given that Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So, I'm going to give you a couple examples here, boundaries in the workplace to start off with. Something for you to think about. We're all working somewhere. Some of us are in offices somewhere. We're in the field or on our own. So maybe if you're a solopreneur, maybe you don't have to deal with this because it's just you, yourself, and I. But if you are working with other people, here are a couple things to think about. You want to communicate upfront with your team, with your boss, and your colleagues what is acceptable and what is not. Now, let me give you an example because I have a good one on this one. So, when I was first hired at Warner Brothers, I was hired into a team of people, and the boss was had been with Warner Brothers for like 20 years, and he had been in the workplace obviously a long time, and he was what you would call a road warrior. And that means that, he would get on a red eye and fly across the country from LA to New York, get off the plane, and go meet a client for breakfast. And I thought, oh my God, like I can't do that. That is going, I can't even think if I have to do that. I can't sleep on planes. And if I don't have good sleep, forget it. I'm not good. So he's talking about how we're all going to take these red eyes and we're going to go to New York for this meeting. And I literally had to sit him down and say, I'm not doing this. Like, you've hired me to do a job, and I'm going to kick butt at that job, but only after I've had some sleep and some food. And a red eye is not going to cut it. And so I just literally said to him, and this was like maybe week 3 on the job, and I said it very nicely and very professionally, but just said, look, if you want me to show up and do the job that you've hired me to do and do it well, I will do that, but I need this in replay. I cannot just do the red eye. And you know something? He totally honored that. It was never, ever, ever an issue for the rest of my almost 20 years at the company. And so that's just one example. So you want to communicate upfront to your boss, to your colleagues, and to your team what is acceptable and what is not. The second one here is like, seriously, this is one of the biggest things. And this is personal as well as professional. Get comfortable saying no. Saying no is the number one way that you are protecting your time. And your time is your number one asset. Period. End of story. We do not have an infinite life on planet Earth. We are here for a finite period of time that is unlimited. known. Nobody knows how long they're going to be here. So why would you just give away your time for free and for nothing? And especially on something that you don't want to do and that is not enjoyable for you. You have to get comfortable saying no. You are protecting your most valuable asset, which is time. So the next time you get into a situation where you really want to say no, but you feel yourself starting to say yes because you feel like you have to, think about that. It is your most valuable asset. So protect it. You want to define your consistent work hours and stick to them. This was never a problem for me. I never had an issue with this, but I know so many people that saw like it was almost as if their value went up if they stayed until 8 o'clock. And as what would happen is that it became a pattern. And before long, it was expected that, oh, of course they're going to be there until 8. And now you can't leave at 5:30, which is when everyone else is leaving. So be very, it goes back to the time thing, right? There's always going to be issue and something coming up with a client or a project or something where you're going to have to work late, and that is just the way it goes, right? That's just life. But on a consistent basis, on a day to day, when you're going to work, you should not be putting in an extra 3 hours at night before you go home. That's just unacceptable. So protect your valuable asset of time and do what is right for you, your boundaries. When you're in the workplace and when you're in those work hours, kick ass. Do your best. That's what you're there for a reason. You're there to help move something forward and do it. Show up. Be the best one on the team, but also have a boundary of when you stop and when you go home and when you then fulfill a personal need of time, of fun, of watching Netflix, whatever that may be. But make sure you stick by it. You're the only one that can, by the way. So make it a priority for yourself. It does not make you a bad employee, does not make you less than. It's not going to stop you from getting the promotion. Just do the job and do it well within the work hours. Okay, now let's switch to the personal side. So personal boundaries are something that are really great to write out for yourself, to really think about and write out. Because if you are really clear with what your personal boundaries are, you are going to be so much better at communicating them to other people. You're going to be so much clearer on when someone crosses them and be able to deal with it. Because if you are not thinking about this and you're not clear, then you're going to get smacked, right? Someone's going to cross over and you're not going to feel good as a result. So think about, as we go through this next section here, about what your personal boundaries are. So here are some examples. I expect friends to be on time or to call when running late. Okay, I'm laughing because if you know me, if you are friends with me, if you have worked with me in any capacity, you know this is my number one. Being on time. Oh my gosh, it is my number one pet peeve. And the reason why is because I equate being on time to being respectful. So if you do not show up on time and you do not let me know, like I've been in an accident, there's a reason why I'm not there. If you just come in late nonchalantly, that says to me you don't respect me or my time. And that does not go over well, people. And I'm not alone in this. I'm definitely not alone. Thankfully, my husband feels the same way. Otherwise, we'd have a problem. But being on time is important, at least to me. Now, it may not be your thing. So if time is not it, then don't put that on as your obviously as your boundary. Second one, ooh, this is a good one too. I only date people who respect me and show it through their words and actions. How many of you have dated men or women who have not done that, who have not showed their respect to you through their words and their actions? Uh-huh. I know you have. I have too. And it can't just be words because there are some people out there that are so slick. They're so good with what comes out of their mouth, but what they actually do, ooh, that is what you need to really, really watch because that will tell you the truth. But their words and their actions definitely should show their respect for who you are. And your boundaries and respecting your boundaries are part of that equation. Okay. I expect trust and confidentiality to be honored. Now, we've kind of already covered this on the work side, But trust is so big in relationships, whether it be professional or personal. And as we said, confidentiality as well. When you can be trusted and those people know that anything they say to you is in the vault, if it is meant to be in the vault, that is something special. And if that's something that you require to be a friend, then make sure that's known and stand by it. Saying no is okay. I know I've already said this one too, and I will probably say it again because saying no is so key. And there's so many of us that don't do it. It is okay. I'm giving you permission. Say no. When you really don't want to do whatever it is, say, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Or I'm sorry, that's just not my thing. I'm not going to do it. Say no. It is totally good. I give myself permission to take time off each week and do things that bring me joy. Okay, moms, how many of you do that? Uh-huh, I know, not very many. Taking time off every single week just for you to do something just for you that brings you joy is essential. Think of it as when you get on the airplane and you put on the mask and they say, put yours on first before dealing with anybody else like your kid because you need to be alive and okay to be able to help anyone else. Well, this is the same concept. You need to fill up your tank of joy before like being a great mom or being a great spouse or being a good neighbor or whatever. How you show up in life is based on how well you treat yourself first. It is not selfish. It is a necessity. So think about that as you are considering what you're going to do next week for yourself. So, like I said, defining these and writing them out are so, so important. And we're going to talk about this at the end. There's going to be a little challenge at the end to do that as a little heads up. It's so important to be very, very clear on what your boundaries are. And you could have 15 of them, but we want to do three, minimum of three, writing out three boundaries. They can be personal, they can be professional, or they can be about Thanksgiving, which is where we're going to end this today on your boundaries. So Thanksgiving is next week. And as I said, some of us get agita over it because we're going into an atmosphere that we know is uncomfortable. I mean, it's uncomfortable every single year. There's somebody there that you do not enjoy being around or who pushes your buttons or triggers you in some way and crosses your boundaries. And so, what do we do about that? So I would start off with if you have an issue with the host and the guilt of time, like I know a lot of moms and grandmas out there, they want you to be there all day long and they're going to guilt you into staying. And if that is an issue for you and that is a trigger because the longer you're there, you know it gets worse and worse and worse for you. So time is important. You don't want your anxiety to kicking on this. So be upfront. I'm going to be there from 2 until 5, or I'm coming at 6 and I'm leaving at 9, or whenever you have dinner. Some people do afternoon and some do night. But be very clear up front. Mom, grandma, aunt, cousin, wherever you're going, this is my start and end time. And be also clear about how you can help. I'm happy to help clean up. I'm happy to bring a pie, but also be clear on the fact that you're not, going to cook the whole dinner. Be clear about what you're able to do and how long you're going to be there. There is nothing wrong with that. And if they push you on the time thing, then say, hey, we agreed. This is what I'm comfortable with. Why don't we get something on calendar and we can have a call, or we could go to breakfast or whatever. And that just kind of pushes out a future opportunity to spend a short amount of time together because sometimes short amount of time is so much better than long, right? Especially if there's any form of friction happening in that relationship. So that's the first thing. The second is at the table or in the room. It doesn't even mean you don't have to be at dinner for this. You never bring up politics or religion. That's like the golden rule, right? Like you should never bring up religion. You should never bring up politics. And if you do, just expect it to go left, right? And I don't mean left as in politics there, but I mean left meaning it's going to go in a wrong direction. It's just the two categories you don't bring up. Now, somebody else may bring them up though, and they may bring them up in a way where you are really angry or upset or hurt. What do? You excuse yourself from the room. You say, you either just get up and walk out, and not dramatically, but you just get up and walk out. Or you could make a comment like, I'm going to go get some water. Or you could say, I'll be back when we get on another topic. And just be light about it. You don't have to be angry because if you react in anger or anxiety, it just flares it, right? Especially normally the person that's bringing it up, they know that they're throwing in a turd, right? They know they're throwing in that match and they're just watching it and ready for it to blow because some people enjoy that. So don't take the bait. Just get up and leave the room. The other thing you can do if you can't easily leave the room is my favorite saying is thanks for sharing. That's it. Just say thanks for sharing because it cuts the conversation off and there's no retaliatory action required. In fact, they may not even know what to say or do. It's just thanks for sharing. So if you're in those circumstances this holiday, try those and see how they work for you. And if it works, even if it doesn't work, I would love to hear any feedback on that because I've used it several times, not at Thanksgiving, but I've used it throughout my life and it works so well. So try it if you're dealing with someone who is uncomfortable to be around. Remember, the key from today is that boundaries are for you. They are not about those other people. They are not about how they're going to react to what you're saying. This is specifically for you, for your peace, for your well-being, for your joy. So set the damn boundaries, okay? Set them, set them, set them. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm at deanne.lewis@emergepositive.com. deanne.lewis@emergepositive.com. I am happy to help you write these out. These are key things to understand more about you and about navigating in the world and about having a better life. I hope you got something out of today's podcast. And I hope that you have a wonderful week. And I hope you have fun going through the process of writing down these three uh, personal boundary statements that are your challenge for this week. Three personal boundary statements can be about work, can be about your personal life, can be about Thanksgiving. It doesn't matter, but get clear about what is important to you. As I leave you today, I just want to remind you, you are creating your life through your thoughts, through your beliefs, through your words and actions. You are creating every single day, every week, and yes, your life. So choose it well. Create a life that you absolutely love, a life that you are so proud of. You can emerge positive. Thanks for joining me this week. I'll see you next Wednesday.